Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back on the mats, and my name's Joseph. This is my friend Mark.
What's up, guys?
Today, we wanted to talk to you about training at home and what the benefits are of doing it, because we've been doing it now for, I think, close to 4 years, maybe 3.5. I think it's close.
I think it's
close
about
to
4 years, yeah.
So, and we train at a school also near here called Reading Martial Arts, and then we train here at my place on Mondays. And we have learned a whole lot through our 4 years of training together, and we wanted to share them with you guys online. So the question is, what kind of mats do we use? What do we use when we train? And we use these. Well, Mark has the exact things.
Yeah. They're actually just mats from Academy Sports. So, not really sure where you may be watching from, or if you guys have like an Academy Sports, but it's like a just like a typical sports store that usually has a lot of different things. I think there's different ones like Shields or whatever sports store you might have, but I think they're called the Diamond Pattern mats from Academy Sports. They're actually just super simple. They're the 3/4 inch thickness, so they're just under an inch. And it kind of really just depends on your budget. So you may have like a bigger budget, so you can just buy like the zebra rollout mats. But we didn't really have a lot of money, so we bought these, and I think they were about like, maybe $40 of a pack of 6, maybe 40 or $50.
Yeah.
And when we first got them, we had enough to train with, but we wanted some more, and it had been so long that Academy stopped making that specific type, and so we got a different type that Academy makes that has just a different fitting. So they're kind of just fitted together, but they definitely work for almost all training. Of course, we don't do any big takedowns on these, starting from standing, any type of like hard, intense wrestling or judo. But yeah, just kind of we do start standing, one of us down, and they worked great.
Yeah. I enjoy these mats because the way they clip together, the way they kind of connect. And also, when we started, we had a 10 by 10, and it was way too small. And we had to buy extras, and it made it, I think, 12 by 12.
Yeah.
And 12 by 12 has been really good for us. I know that we've wanted to add just a little bit more because you do end up on the edges
Right.
a lot easier. Yep. But before it was 10 by 10, and so I do recommend these mats. They're easy to tear down. They're easy to store. They're easy to set up. And they just fit under a table in this room.
They've lasted kind of a long time. I mean, these, if you were to take a closer look, I mean, there's like little holes where they've been breaking here and there, but considering how long we've had them and how much we've used them, they've held up really well. Now, if you buy these and you just go ham on them and you're just going super hard all the time and kind of rough on them, they may not last long, but I think if you take care of them, they last a pretty considerable amount of time.
Yeah. And I bought these first ones in 2017, the end of 2017, 2018. So when did we start training at home? I started Jiu-Jitsu in 2016, and Mark started in
2020, yeah.
In 2020.
August of 2020.
And we started meeting then. We started meeting here at my place. And what we did was we had a list of technique that we were going through, stuff that I had learned. I was a blue belt at the time, and I don't even know if I had any stripes or not. I just know I'd been a blue belt.
So let's see, when I started, after about 6 months after I had started, so I had been 6 months into my white belt, Joseph got his purple belt. So that kind of gives you a place of, kind of an idea of where we both were at.
Yeah, so we'd been training here with a list. What was really cool about the list is he would come, we would meet, we'd go through this long list, and then he would go back to the school and use techniques on people, and they'd be like, where did you even get that from? And it was just because we were meeting together, and so that kind of answers some of the question, like, what were some of the benefits of us meeting? Well, it helped us both grow dramatically in our game. So yeah, going to class and going to school and meeting for an hour and doing what the coach says to do is great, and you need that. You need mat time with other people. You need to get beat up, and you need to submit. You need to experience all that. But what I've experienced at home with Mark has been amazing, because what it's done is it's helped us to focus in on what we really want to learn. But the problem was this. When we first started, like I said, we would do that list, and then I think after like 10 minutes, we were ready to fight. And
we would like say, okay, let's go through this lasso, let's go through half guard. We would like try to work through this ridiculously long list that Joseph had. And we would get through just like part of it within like 10, 15 minutes max, and then we would just start rolling. Yeah, we would just want to start beating each other up. But back when I first started, it was just Joseph beating me up really bad the whole time. But what was great was I actually started learning things really quickly. And so there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know even about jiu-jitsu at all. And so I was learning all kinds of stuff right away. But one of the things, as Joseph mentioned, that was really good is I noticed that we both, especially for myself, I started growing really quickly, because it allowed me, as someone that was brand new at the time, to have a little bit more focused time. Whereas in class, you get shown a technique and then you work on the technique, and then we would just start sparring. And I was still just trying to figure everything out during sparring. But having this time with Joseph outside of the school allowed me to focus on a lot of stuff that I just didn't have the ability to in a classroom.
Yeah, that's so good. Just even what he's saying, it gives you the opportunity to go over what you want to go over.
Right.
And for the time that you want to. So yes, we did. We fought to the death at first, and that's what we wanted to do. But what happened is over time, we would leave just meeting here injured, hurt, frustrated. There was just a lot of different things going on. And I think in the past 2 years, maybe even a year and a half, maybe 2 years, we came to a place where we were like,
it's been about 2 years since we made an adjustment.
We decided to make an adjustment in our training, and I think it actually came from him, not from me. And the adjustment was to start drilling and start actually taking our time and start flowing and start utilizing this time way better than we were.
It was really a mindset shift of, because Joseph and I are both just over 40. We're both probably turning 41 this year. So it was a mindset shift of like, man, our bodies are not holding up like they used to. And it's really hard on you when you're just sparring, going hard all the time. And so instead we were like, hey, that's good, but why don't we just spend some time in specific positions and start focused on them and doing some more like dynamic, playful training where I guess you could call it flowing, but we're just giving one another feeds and really slowing down. And that was the biggest thing, is we've just slowed down. Yeah. So instead of going super hard, we've slowed down and focused on very specific things, and that's been really good.
Yeah, and let's be real. There's times whenever we'll get in a position and it gets a little heated, but I can tell when that happens, when it starts to kind of get a little strong, I can feel him start to breathe a little bit lighter, and then I'll start to breathe, and you go, okay, it's just time to slow down and reset again.
Yeah, we feel each other out. There's times where it starts to escalate. We start turning it up some.
Tried to hurt
and then all of a sudden, we'll just back off. I could feel Joseph back off, or he can feel me back off. Yeah. But that's so key, and it has happened over the last 2 years since our adjustment, where we end up just sparring hard. But we have really tried to work hard on not doing that and being a little bit more intentional and focused with what we're doing. And it's actually, so the benefit of that has been even better. Yeah. So the growth and the awareness, I feel like my personal awareness in positions has just spiked upward.
Big time.
As opposed to just sparring all the time, you're kind of learning while you're in intense, like it's hard to just learn when you're going really hard, but when you've slowed down, you're able to think more. And I just feel like that's helped me a lot more in all of the positions that we go over now.
Yeah. And the way that we do that now is we'll do positional, or Mark will be standing or I'll be standing, and we'll just guard past the guard for 30 minutes or open guard passing for 30 minutes. And I am so in love with that. So if you're a white belt right now and you're like just trying to find stuff to hold on to, if you could capture passing right now
Yeah.
and throw. Just submissions will come, but if you could just go, I want to learn to pass.
Yeah.
I wished I would have learned to pass
Yep.
at white and blue, but I was so focused on submission. And just like Mark was saying, whenever you're fighting for your life on the mats at school, it's hard to see those opportunities in those moments. But when you're drilling, I think drilling more than sparring is beneficial. And the reason I feel that way is because when I've drilled more here with Mark at home, when I get into sparring situations at open mat, it's like time slows down and I see those opportunities
absolutely.
so well. And now, I'm going to tell you, it's so important. Yes, go to your school and learn from your coach and
You need to
train
do
with
that.
everybody.
Definitely.
But
yeah.
if you can find, if you're a white belt and all you have is another white belt, and that's just your friend, okay, y'all meet together, get some mats, and do this. But if you can refrain from giving each other black eyes and bloody noses and just drill and focus in on technique, wow. If you are a white belt and you can find a blue belt or a purple belt and you guys can meet and go over stuff, it's going to help both of you. Because let me tell you, I was in my purple belt and my game was at a rut. I was at a rut, and I was meeting here with Mark. It was in a rut. I was at school. It was in a rut. I was just doing my same thing over and over again. He started doing a whole lot of leg attacks, started submitting me while we were wrong, and I didn't like it. And so I had to grow in that. So meeting with Mark here at my place actually helped my game expand, and it helped it grow. He helped me get out of just this stagnant, same old, same old. And so I think that meeting one-on-one with somebody and even a couple people at an at-home gym on your own mats can help you learn more in some instances.
Yeah,
that doesn't
absolutely.
take away from what's happening at your school. What I'm saying is you can actually take some time and slow down.
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, everybody can train however they want to train. I mean, we're not telling or trying to tell anyone how to train, but we're just saying this is what we have done. We've basically did the whole like, hey, let's just do an open mat, but just at Joseph's place where we just bump hands and we just start sparring. But then we were like, hey, let's start doing this. And when Joseph was mentioning drilling, what we mean by drilling is important. We're not just talking about like, doing a Toriando pass like you see on the internet where they're just kind of doing the movement over and over and over. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like, okay, let's do a Toriando pass, but let's just you lay on your back and then I'm going to try to Toriando pass, but we're just going to kind of give each other feeds and we're going to just work real slow and allow each other to think while we're moving. And what happens is as we're doing that, we're starting to see the game in ways that we haven't seen it before, which is very difficult when you're sparring. I've talked a lot about this. Like when I first started, we would do technique at school in class, and then it would just be sparring. And I was having to learn everything while sparring. Doing this has allowed me to learn all of the different positions from white, blue, and into my purple belt, like learning all of these positions very focused. And so like if we're doing guard passing or side control, I'll start in side control and Joseph will start on bottom. And then if I get to a submission or if I get to a certain place or if Joseph sweeps, we just start over. Or if we're passing and if I pass, we start over. Or if Joseph sweeps me and comes up on top, we start over. That's what we mean by drilling. Mm-hmm. So picking one spot. And I'll tell you, like, we were doing reverse de la Hiva, all kinds of open guard for years now. And now when I'm sparring at open mat or when I'm sparring in class, like whenever we do rounds, when I end up in those positions, I've been spending so much time in those positions, I know exactly where I'm at for my level. Like, of course, like there's still so much we need to learn and so much that we need to grow in, even in our own levels. But just talking about comfort, it's like all of a sudden I'm in these positions and I feel a little bit more comfortable than I did when I first started, where I would end up in someone's mount or I'd end up in bottom side control or I would end up in mount or side control when I was like a new white belt or a new blue belt. And I was like, man, like I'm in this position. Oh, well, I know these few attacks and I would lose the position. But now I can tell that it's just different. It's just different.
It really does come from spending time.
Yeah.
And it's come from spending time together here at home. So I hope you can find somebody that you can train with one-on-one. I feel like it's very, very beneficial.
Yeah, definitely.
So what we're going to do is we're actually going to just do a little bit of that for you guys and show you how we do that. So we're going to do that real quick, right? We're about to demonstrate what we were just talking about. So I'm going to let Mark kind of walk you through what's about to happen.
Okay, yeah. So when we were talking about how we're, quote, drilling positions, we're essentially just picking a position and then working in that position. So it's going to look kind of playful, flowing. We're not going super hard, but the whole point is to think about what we're doing in the position as Joseph gives me different feeds as I start to try to do this or that. And it really helps us to slow down in the position and really learn what we're doing and learn about things that maybe we didn't see before and things like that. So we're actually going to do some just open guard passing. And so what we will do is we just set a timer where he'll start on bottom and I'll start passing, and we'll do that for 5 minutes and then we switch. And that's usually what we'll do, or we'll do side control or mount or, De La Hiva or whatever it is. So we're actually just going to do some open guard passing. So Joseph's going to start on bottom first.
Yeah, the kimono. Like people are watching.
So you'll notice there was that little moment where we paused. And we'll do that a lot where I didn't know what to do just yet. I was kind of waiting on Joseph because I was in this back step position. And I could tell Joseph was waiting on me. So, we're just kind of feeling the position out as we go.
And I love it too because when Mark first came in, like when I put him in this reverse De La Hiva, he brought his hand and then he started coming around to pass. I was like, oh, I'm gonna remove his hand. Like I know those are simple things. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna remove a hand, but in the middle of a live round, you'd be surprised how often you don't think about some of it. You just start going.
Right.
But doing this slow, I'm like, oh, let me move his hand so I can move. Mm-hmm. So we'll do it one more time and then we'll let you guys go. You can go ahead. That's fine. So we're not excluding, submitting.
Yeah, Joseph told me to go to the submission, so.
We do it all the time. You just don't rip it. You take your time and go slow. Oh. This is the chair sit that he taught last time. All right. Y'all have a good day. Oh, gosh. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Have a good one.